Welcome to episode 7 of the motor build and the battery pack build. In this episode I'm going to focus on creating some bridge points between the front and the back of the actual battery packs. So I'm going to use these plastic isolators that I've modified so they now can host a copper rod through it to bridge that connection. So let's take a look at that. Before I could actually do any work this morning, I had to put a new worktop on because the previous worktop was a little bit too thin. So under the weight of the motor housing and the battery packs, it started to buckle and it was really close to actually giving in. Okay, so I now have a little bit more secure, thicker top than I had before. So I don't need to worry now that it's going to collapse on me. So this is how the new isolator point, which have been converted into a bridge point, looks in the bamboo slicer program. So you can see there's a hole in it instead of being no hole, and there is an M8 nut which has been slightly increased in size to host the new copper nut. So these are two of the modified isolating points which now will become bridge points instead, just printed. So we'll get one of these off. So I have made the M8 hole a bit bigger to cater for a copper nut instead. It was slightly bigger to make sure that I get a better connection point. And I also put an M8 hole straight through it. And same thing on the female. Let's see if we can get it off. Yeah, same thing on the female. So we're going to sort that out. Here's some other parts for the battery pack, but I'll cover that at the end of this episode. To give you a better idea what I'm trying to do here, as it's a 14S battery pack, the whole kind of circuit will go like this in 7 jumps, and then I will have 7 battery packs on the other side, which means that the current has to then cross over. So at this point here, I will have the bridge with the copper going straight through, and also at this point here, I will have a bridge because the negative will come back to this point. So I will then bridge the negative up to this point here, which is the battery negative. So when the battery pack is done, I will then have a minus and a plus coming out of here, which I then can parallel connect to the next battery pack. So let's create one of those bridge points. First I just need to get rid of some print kind of leftovers that is in each of these to make sure we have a clean cut. Nothing there. Just to get a better fit of this thread, I just need to chamfer the top bit a bit. So I'll do it. So with that chamfered, I can now fit this in and screw it in, which is all I need. So that's that. Time for the copper nuts to go on, and the idea with the copper nuts is just to make sure that when the cable end point goes on, it has more of a surface than it would just hanging on the actual copper thread itself. So I'm using a rubber hammer because I don't want to damage this, so we'll put it in there. So as you can see, I made sure that the copper nut is a bit proud, it sticks out a little bit, so that the connection point will then rest against the copper nut, which then will have the connection point with the actual copper rod itself. The copper rod itself is an M8 copper rod, and I have calculated that to be 7.5 centimeters to have, or 75 millimeters to have the exact length I need. We'll do a cut mark there. So when you cut metal with a grinder, you obviously want to have your glasses and all kinds of PPE equipment that you have. So with that in place, I should be able to attach the bridge. And to bridge in the actual copper rod. This coming through, but it's a little bit tight. So that looks about right. So we now have it going straight through, which means we can connect this one there. And this one there. Where's that one? There we go. So it's bridged. With the bridge points in place, I've started to look at the battery cell packs. These scooter packs don't come with a lid, so any 18650s you would put in would just go straight through, unless I have a bottom and a lid. So this lid design has little pucks, which will then line up with the little holes in the actual pack, and has an opening for each of the nickel strips that will then connect to the main 240 amp cable at the top. So I've created also a little trench for this that will be epoxied on top, and then you will have the cable sitting in the trench, and on top of that there will be a lid. So a question for all of you is, what is the best way to connect a nickel strip to a copper wire? Any ideas around that? Greatly appreciated. I also wanted to say that I've designed all of this with the help of Marian, a friend of mine, who is a 3D designer, and I'll leave his details in the description if you have anything needs designing. He has a profile on Fiverr where he helps people with similar projects. So I think that's a good place to stop for today. So yeah. Thank you for watching this 7th episode. If you were new to this channel, then you will find the first episode up here in the corner somewhere. If you have any questions, or if you see anything that you think can be improved or questioned, then stick it in the comments and I will respond. And if you want to see the next episode, then feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.